Kim Dorsey, aka Nana, and my co-host.
Kei-Lani.
I can't hear you.
Kei-Lani.
What?
Amira.
Yes, there we go. We are back. We are back. We are back. Kei-Lani, are you a little bit tired today? I mean, you're a little sluggish. Really? Okay, all righty. Well, we want to welcome you to another episode or podcast of the Delta Era. We're excited to be here on today. Kei-Lani, are you excited? You look like you're still sleeping. You are okay. This is my second time asking you because where is the fire? Where is the spunk on today? We'll get into the reason why you're so tired. You'll tell us about that later. But we just want to welcome you to another podcast. We're excited to be here. Kei-Lani and I are very excited. Kei-Lani, are we excited to be here? Kei-Lani, no, okay. I just want to make sure, guys, she's awake over there. So we're excited to be back, and we prepared another episode for you. We're gonna just delve right in. Kei-Lani, can we go right into this? Can we? Is it okay if we go right into this?
Yes.
Okay. You have anything you want to say?
I'm tired.
You're tired. Okay. But do you have anything you want to say? Should we tell the people to like?
Oh yeah,
And
like, share, and subscribe, please.
And subscribe, right? Okay, you know what? Maybe we should record as early as we do, but here we are. So, Kei-Lani, do you have anything you want us to address? I mean, I know what we did last week on the other podcast. Anything that you think that we should talk about?
Not really.
Not really. So let me ask you this question. Matter of fact, get a little closer to the camera so the people can see us. Get a little close. Get a little closer. There you go. So last week we talked about the fact of how to negotiate between the older generation and what is known now as Delta. But I have a problem with it. Don't you want to know what my problem is? Okay, speak up. I can't hear you. Speak up.
What's your problem?
Oh, good. I thought that this is what you should say. My problem is that I feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, because you're my co-host. I feel that it doesn't always go the way that we planned it.
Yeah.
I mean, does it always go in the direction? I mean, the way you and I portrayed it last podcast, it went smoothly. But sometimes, is that really reality?
No.
So tell me, what is real reality with the Delta generation? Because you and I did it so smoothly and so nicely. We were so respectful. But from my experience, sometimes it doesn't go that way. So I need you to tell me why sometimes it does not go in that direction.
Because with certain kids or like parents, they always want to be right. So it doesn't really go exactly the way you planned it to.
And my question to you is, because I'm going to ask the question so I can hear your voice today. Why does it seem like every time an adult or somebody of authority addresses a young person, to me, it seems like it always goes in the wrong direction? Like, for instance, you and I could be honest. Sometimes I've said to you, Kei-Lani, can you do A, B, C, and D? And what I consider to be a little attitude, you say, Nana, right? Nana, that's normal. So let's talk about that. You're saying that sometimes what about parents? What did you say about parents again?
They always want to be right.
We always want to be what? Right. So why do sometimes you guys feel like you always have an attitude?
Well, I wouldn't say an attitude. It's just the way we kind of like respond to you.
Okay, so I want to use this word, and I would like for you to give me the definition. And if I'm stepping on your toes today, you tell me. Sometimes I feel that in situations, the word I want to use today is escalate. What's that definition, Kei-Lani?
Increase rapidly.
Increase rapidly. So our podcast, the last episode, showed how we were able to negotiate without there being any what I call interference. I don't know what you would call it because you're a Delta. But how do we prevent? What pointers, what advice can we give parents and young people how to not escalate, but de escalate the situation when nobody wants to come to the table and nobody wants to hear one another and nobody wants to listen? I want to hear from you. I want you to do me a favor today. I want you to address the children, the Delta era, and I want you to address the parents. Address the parents first. Go ahead.
Hi, mamas and papas.
Hey, mamas and papas.
um, I have to say, if it's not working out, maybe see it from like your kid's point of view, or like at least try. Like I don't know, put an example. I don't know. Have an example for the moms and parents. But
Okay, so let me paint this picture. You and I at the table, we come together. There's been a call it a matter, and I want to address it. You don't want to hear me, but I feel as the guardian, as the parent, that I feel I need to get my point across, and I am very adamant about getting my point across. I don't want to deal with it tomorrow. I don't want to ignore it. I want to address it. So my question to you is, if I'm ready to address it and you're not, what can we do to prevent it escalating into something that it should not be?
I know you said like already like you don't want to wait, but I'd say you should wait a little bit, like at least 5 minutes or so, until like the kid or nephew niece like cools down,
Mhm.
and then bring it back to the table.
Okay, so what happens when we give it that 5 minutes and you're still not ready? Maybe I'm still not ready. Are there any other pointers that you can give us as adults and as the Delta? How do we again de-escalate the situation?
Hmm.
You said 5 minutes. What if the 5 minutes doesn't work?
You have to give it more time.
What if giving it more time doesn't work? You know, a lot of times, if I'm wrong, and tell Nana, you're not telling the truth. This is your time to tell me. A lot of times, right? 5 minutes may not be enough. There have been times when, let's be honest, when I'm gonna say it, I call it being in your feelings. You call it being a young person. So what happens if the 5 minutes go longer? Am I going to ignore the matter? Now you don't want to talk to me. 5 minutes have gone further than what it should be. I now have an attitude. I don't want to talk to you. What else are we going to do? Because we can't continue to live in the same household and be upset with one another. Tell me what else you think. Tell me what Kei-Lani Amira feels that we, as the guardians, the parents, the educators, the houses of worship, so forth and so on, should be doing when it concerns a matter dealing with what they call the Delta era. I'll give you a minute.
Um, my brain's not braining right now.
It's okay.
I'd say if it's not working out, then maybe you should like just. I'd say wait again for like give it like a few days then if they're still upset, and then bring it back to the table like when they're all happy and stuff.
How long is that going to be?
It doesn't take long. So if they're on the phone with their friends, then they'll start laughing and giggling. They'll be happy by then.
Okay. And what other pointers do you need to give us?
With the Delta era, an example, if it was you and me, I'd say you should get me a gift. You know, just
Get
saying.
you a gift. Okay, so let me get this straight. If you and I are having what I call a moment and I'm trying to get my point across, you're now telling me to get you a gift.
Yep. So that way I listen.
Okay, so Kei-Lani, let's be realistic, right? We can't always be going shopping when there's a matter, we're
Yes.
gonna have to address it.
We can address it while we're shopping.
So okay, let me see if I hear you correctly, because again, a lot of times we don't hear what you are saying. You're telling me, tell me if I'm wrong, and cut me off at any given time. What you're saying to me is, Nana, sometimes the environment that you want to address a matter in is not fitting for you. So what you're saying is we should get up, leave the four walls of our home, take it into another environment where you will feel comfortable, and I'll be able to get my point across.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me get it straight. So what you're saying is that it's not really how you say it, it's what you say. And we, as the guardians and the grandparents and the aunts and uncles and all of the elder generation, what we have to do is we have to listen. Tell me if I'm wrong. Listen to what you are saying. Now, I got to be honest with you. I want to be really honest with you. For a hot second, I almost missed that moment. I almost missed what you were really saying. And I want to say to you, I apologize and I am sorry.
It's okay.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I was hearing what I wanted to hear. So let's talk about this. Once we bring the individuals into the environment that is fitting, you're telling me that you are willing to listen. I really want to know, as the older generation, because for me, it's not really making sense, right? I hear what you're saying, right? And I did apologize, but I'm going to say me because I'm going to represent some, right? Because we can't, we got to be biased, right? We can't be biased, excuse me. So let me get this straight again. I don't really understand how come, and maybe it's just me, that I have to, let me use this word. I have to, what I consider, accommodate you when I'm trying to get my point across. I want to know from you, what do I get in return? Because this is two-way.
Well, I have two things you can get back.
Okay.
So, as an example, like these before we go shopping, you get your stuff from the stores and you get your point across.
Okay, so wait, this is getting a little deep for me because I'm just trying to figure out how we always wind up at shopping in order to get a point across. But I understand now. I'm feeling it. I'm processing it again. And you know what? I'm understanding what you're saying is taking me out of, because you're right. I've gotten a little bit upset because you don't want to hear what I have to say, right? And you're saying, Nana, calm down. Let's collect our thoughts and let's handle this where you and I both can be heard. So my question to you is, once we get to the mall shopping center and we're shopping, and I say to you, okay, Kei-Lani, we're here, and I now need to express to you my concerns, how I feel, and let's be honest, I may have an attitude. How are you going to address me? Let's put this in the atmosphere. Let's think of a scenario. Come up with a scenario for me so we can break it down so that people can understand. Want to talk about school?
Uh, I guess.
Okay. Let's think of a scenario. Let's put one together. Let's talk about possibly receiving a phone call home from school for a homework assignment that you did not complete. And now your grade has dropped 10 points. So you come at the door and I'm telling you, Kei-Lani, we got a phone call from your school. This is what it is. And this needs to be handled. Right? I'm upset, right? Let me ask you this question. Do I have the right to be upset?
If I'm gonna be honest, yes and no.
Explain.
Well, for my yes part, it's because like I should do good in school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm kind of like the miniature version of you.
Mm-hmm.
So like I hold your name, and then for my no part, it's because well, to read, maybe the assignment was hard, and I just didn't really understand it, so I wait till I got home to do it,
Okay.
or maybe I mean not maybe, and it's just like I want to say I feel like it's gonna sound disrespectful, but I don't want to say it. It's like,
Say it again.
I said I want to say it, but then I don't want to say it. But like my second part is because like I mean
Say what you gotta say. This is a free podcast. We're trying to get young people to understand and bring them what we call the meaning of the mind together so we can understand how to operate or maneuver when it comes to young people. Say it.
eh, well because it's school and school is very stressful depending on what like certain class or like school you're in with like certain people and like everyone can be really mean or rude or like just bully you for no reason. So like maybe it just distracted you from getting the work done.
Okay. Take your time. Take your time. I love your honesty. I love your honesty because now you're bringing up something else that we need to come on here and we need to address. So let's talk about the fact that that's the scenario. We're in the mall, the shopping center. I've expressed to you how I feel, and I want to know what is your response to me.
I think it just went through my head. Can you repeat that?
Okay, so that's the scenario we created. We went to the mall. That's right. You said we're going to the mall.
Yep.
I've expressed to you. Now, remind you, I'm a little bit bothered because first of all, I didn't get a chance to voice my opinion. You wanted me to wait 5 minutes, and the 5 minutes turned into a little bit longer. And now a day later, we're at the mall, and I still haven't expressed how I feel. This is the scenario, and what is your response going to be to me after I tell you how I feel?
Well, for our scenario, I'd say maybe I'll do better.
You'll do better. What about the children? What about the children? Yep. You know what? We're going to take a break for just a moment and we're going to say it again. If you be so kind as to like, share, and subscribe, because this is serious. This is a serious matter that we're really trying to address, that we're really trying to bring attention and awareness to. So again, we want to say like, share, and subscribe. So Kei-Lani, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. You will do better. For most parents, that's not good enough. That we want to hear more. We want to hear something else, right? And you're saying that, Nana, that's all I can give you. That's all I can give you. What you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I want to make sure that I understand. What you're saying is that this is the all I can give you at this moment. Will there be anything else you would want to say to me?
I can do better in the future, and I can make up that assignment.
Okay. Again, that's not good enough for me, right? We use the word escalate. See how that can occur? Because sometimes we as parents, we're not satisfied with the response. And let Nana just interject this for just a second. The times have changed, they're different. But that statement you just made, that could have been given back in the day when I was growing up. So I'm grateful that you have been born in this time so that I can learn, so that your community can learn that not all the time are you guys giving attitude, right? Oh, don't get it wrong. She can't give attitude, right, Kei-Lani? Yeah, that's what I thought. So she can't give attitude. But I believe that what I've learned from you today is sometimes being the first one to stay quiet sometimes is beneficial for the outcome of the matter. So it doesn't, what was the word that you used? You said the word that we don't want to occur between a parent and a is
Escalate.
what?
Escalate.
Escalate. Can you give them the definition again?
Increase rapidly.
Increase rapidly. So let's go here for a second. You kind of talked about, the reason why you didn't complete the assignment, and the reason why I received the phone call home. How do we as parents, let me reiterate it. Do you think that we always give you the benefit of the doubt, or do you think we jump to conclusions a lot more than we should? And this is your platform. You have the right to be honest.
Jump to conclusions.
How does that make you feel?
I guess it kind of makes you feel upset because you're not like really understanding from like my point of view when I tell you what actually happened, and you just like jump to that conclusion on where like no, you just didn't want to do the work.
So I'm going to go here for just a second, and I really want to, I want to tread, but I want to tread lightly with this next question. Because I know that with the Delta era now, there are a lot of things that are going on in the world. You guys have great concerns that I didn't have when I was growing up. When we, as the older generation, don't take out the time to hear you, I asked you how it felt. What occurs in your mind? What are some of your thoughts when you feel like, because what I want to express today, not only about and Kei-Lani, chime in at any given time, love. This is your podcast. We are partners here. What I want to do, and Kei-Lani and I have been talking about this, we again want to create an environment. And I want it to be that we as the parents and the guardians, again, become first responders. And we're not going to talk about, I'm not going to put out there the word that we're going to discuss, and we're going to bring on a couple of guests who are going to address it. But again, we want to recognize that when things escalate, Kei-Lani, say that word again for me.
Escalate.
When things escalate, it sometimes sends our young people in a place that we would say is not safe. And Kei-Lani and I have a desire to create a safe haven. So Kei-Lani, yeah, let's get close up on the screen because this is serious. If you don't feel comfortable saying some of the things today, give me at least one or two thoughts that cross your mind when you feel that you're not being heard.
Two thoughts.
Two
like
thoughts.
One or two thoughts.
Give me one or two. You can give more, but I want to know. I want to know your thoughts when that happens to you.
I don't really think much about it because like I'll just think like maybe like one, two things, and then like I'll just play music and then like.
Okay.
But sorry. One thing I'll think about is maybe like, wow, she's not really listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be like, okay, maybe if I come back later and address it, maybe she'll understand then. But then I never really do go back because I'm too busy into the music or I'm asleep.
Do you ever feel hurt?
Not really.
Do you ever feel disappointed? You don't get angry?
No.
Not at all. What do you say to the children that may be upset and angry and become annoyed and don't want to talk to their parents or their guardians?
Find someone you can talk to about it.
Find someone you can talk to about it. And who for you may that be? Because I know you come from a large family. And I'm not just saying that because you're Nana. I mean, I do know the ins and outs of it. But who are some of the people that you go to, and who are some of the people that you would advise young people? So let me go back just right quickly. We talked about how to de-escalate the matter and what. So now I want to kind of bring and tie it in together. If I'm not willing to listen, mom is not willing to listen. You just said, find somebody that you can talk to. Who are the people? Let's use mommy as example. She's not on here, but hi, mom. Wave the mom key because she's going to be watching this later. Hi, mom. Who are some of the people that you go to that you're comfortable with when a situation is escalated between you and your parents?
My aunt,
Hmm.
my friends, and then I know it's really crazy to say, but I'll go to my sister too, even though she won't understand what I'm saying. But
Uh-huh.
I have to her.
So let's give a shout out to give her a shout out.
Hi.
Alanaya, your sister's talking about you today on the podcast. You guys won't believe it, but she's younger than Keilani, so this is really funny. So, who would you encourage young people if they're not able to talk to their parents? Who do you suggest that they go to? Can you go to an educator? Can you go to your pastor? Maybe your rabbi? So forth and so on. Give me some people that you think that young people should find comfort in and confiding in.
You could go to a different family member, friends, uh, teacher, uh, counselor, and anyone else that you think you feel comfortable, not think that you do feel comfortable with talking to.
Okay, so I'm getting a little emotional over here, and I really want you to just be honest while we're on this podcast, right? Is Nana a good person to talk to? I just want to know. Am I a good person to talk to? I mean, you didn't mention me. Am I a good person to talk to?
Yeah, but
Was that a head nod? Or what?
besides you, or
Okay, all righty. Okay, but I'm a good person to talk to.
yeah,
Okay, so with that being said, again, we want you to like and subscribe, right? And I'll say this, as we prepare to close, Keilani, I'm going to say a few things, and then I just want you to address us, and we're going to close it out. It's one thing being a mother; it's another thing to be a grandmother. But again, I have taken on the assignment, not just as a spiritual life coach, but I've also taken on this assignment to make sure that our young people are feeling comfortable. Yes, there it is. I am a certified life coach. And I just want everybody to know I'm here for you. I'm here for your children. Listen, call us up and we'll be there. So, Keilani, I'm going to bow out gracefully and I want you to say your last words. And again, I want to say I'm sorry because today you've made me realize, Nana, listen a little bit more than you do talk. So, go ahead, Keilani. Say whatever you have to say to Delta Era, whatever you have to say to us as parents. And we're going to close it out.
I'd say, like I said last time, listen and understand.
Listen and understand. We'll be back. I'm your host, Kimberly Dorsey, aka Nana, and this is my co-host,
Kei-Lani Amira.
Bye.